Good afternoon and welcome to the Weather Guru channel. I'm your host Tony. Thank you for joining me for the 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time advisory of Hurricane Isaias. Tropical Storm Isaias now has been issued, and as expected, the National Hurricane Center has downgraded Tropical Storm Isaias to a tropical storm from a hurricane. It is expected to re-strengthen to a hurricane overnight as it approaches the southeast coast of Florida. Minimum central pressure rose to 993 millibars, and max sustained winds have dropped to 70 miles per hour. And so the storm continues to weaken tonight. As I told you before in the previous video, it was correct that it will weaken to a tropical storm, which it has done. Now, tropical storm warnings and watches and hurricane watches and warnings will still continue to be an issue for Florida, the east coast of Florida, and they might extend it up into the Georgia and the Carolina coast as Isaias moves northward later on. That's later on Sunday afternoon into Monday morning. Uh, the storm was being affected by the dry air and also a southwesterly wind shear of 20 knots or greater that is affecting Isaias. But the main thing with Isaias, the problem with it is that the internal structure of Isaias has not improved, and because the internal structure has fallen apart, basically, it has weakened the system, and that has caused the system to basically fall apart. And one thing about tropical systems is, yes, you may have water above 80 degrees to cause. You need warm water above 80 degrees Fahrenheit, okay, to be as the fuel of the system. But if the system itself is not organized properly, meaning the inflow and outflow channels is either damaged or compromised, it will not strengthen as much as a system that has everything. You must go back to the fundamentals, and that's why, just like if anything in sports or in life, if you're not good at the basics, you're not going to be good at the advanced. And so this system is the forecast cone as of 5 p.m. You can see the cone has shifted a little more to the east, and so the system is expected to stay offshore into the warm waters of the Gulf Stream and the Atlantic Ocean, and it's going to continue to recurve out following the domination of the Bermuda High, the Bermuda Azores High. Now, because this is a weaker system, it is expected to stay near the coast, but that means it will still not make landfall as I previously stated, but it will stay offshore. Will places like on the east coast of Florida, like the Space Coast, Melbourne, and Satellite Beach, and Fort Lauderdale, and all of those places, West Palm Beach, will they get rain? Yes, they will. Will they get tropical storm winds? They will, because tropical storm force winds extend out over 170 miles from the center. It's because the storm is close enough to offer that. But tropical storm force winds are those winds ranging between 39 and 69, 70 miles an hour approximately. So they might see a period tonight, later tonight at midnight, where they'll have sustained winds around 35 miles an hour. But I think they can handle that. I think I've lived in Florida. I think we can handle that. Okay, there may be occasional few gusts, maybe getting up to about 60, 65 miles an hour, but they'll be short-lived because the system is very weak on the western side and on the eastern side, and most of the showers will be offshore, as noted here. Now, and so the main impacts will be just rain, and they may get maybe 2 to 3 inches of rain at the maximum for those points from West Palm Beach up to Melbourne Beach, Satellite Beach, Cape Canaveral, Daytona Beach, and continuing up north through the first coast of Jacksonville. Now, so the only part of landfall that we should be concerned with is going to be the Outer Banks of North Carolina and the surrounding communities from Morehead City, Surf City, North Carolina, up through Buxton, Rodante Beach, and Ocracoke Island. So this chart here, the Hurricane Center has it coming at 2 a.m. Tuesday through Charleston, Folly Beach, that area, Myrtle Beach, but it won't. It's going to be the Outer Banks of North Carolina, as the anticipated turn to the north is going to be earlier than expected, and it is going to curve out to sea. Now, the movement is still right now northwest at 10 miles an hour because it's moving around the subtropical ridge of high pressure, as I stated. But because of the trough, the deepening trough influence is already weakening this system tremendously, and messing up the structure. The turn to the north will happen tomorrow morning, midday tomorrow morning, and then from there we'll start to see it feeling the effects on Monday of that big turn to the northeast that we're going to be seeing with this system, whatever shape it's in, once it comes up to that point. The next advisory will be 8 p.m. intermediate advisory, but the next full advisory will be 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and that's when we expect to see more changes. A new mission, hurricane mission, hunters has just flew out there. They're flying out there now, and they'll have that data for us at could be at 8 p.m. or it could be at 11 p.m. But I'm expecting the full update to be at 11 p.m. and that's when I expect that they may find flight level winds around 75 around hurricane force. So they may keep the intensity at 70 miles an hour, or they may decide to raise it because they're saying that there is warm water underneath it as the system is underneath the Florida Straits, the Gulf Stream right now. But I don't think so because the system was poorly organized. It just doesn't have enough to gather the strength, and so I'm going to put it down still as a tropical storm through 8 p.m. And then 11 p.m. is the advisory that's going to be very important because that's going to tell us if it's starting to get organized and can hold on to maybe a minimal hurricane. But I don't think so. I think the internals have been destroyed, and it should be a tropical storm, a strong tropical storm offshore with winds ranging from 60 to 70 miles an hour. Okay. Alrighty, well that is the 5 p.m. Oh, and I should also warn that the storm surge, there will be a water level rise even though it's offshore. The storm surge water level rise will be between 1 to 4 feet for areas from Jacksonville down to West Palm Beach and areas up in Georgia from Savannah to from Brunswick, Savannah, all the way up through Charleston, South Carolina. But it should not be significant enough to cause any major problems right now because the system is the convection. Most of the convection is well off to the east southeast of this system, the major convection, and the system has shrunk in size. It's no longer a monster system, a couple hundred miles across, and so that is to our favor. So join me again for the next update. Thank you for joining me. This is the Weather Guru signing off. Have a great afternoon.